Boom.
Boom.
Hi.
Recording. Hello.
We're recording.
Sweet.
Okay. What we got? Bre and Josh Pandry. Here we are. Your very first podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Fresh business owners. This is
Yes.
exciting. So, please introduce yourself. What you're about. What do you do? And I want to hear your story.
Well, we own Purrs and Paws Grooming. We are a stress-free grooming environment is kind of what our whole pitch and plan is all about, is creating a good environment for your animals and friends.
Okay. And then, Josh.
Josh, do you want me just my job and stuff like that?
Just who you are.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Josh, I was born in Regina.
Regina?
Yeah.
You a Sass boy.
Yep. I came here when I was
Should've brought
2.
the Pilsner.
I know. Actually, I don't mind Pilsner too.
It's actually, I really like it.
Yeah, I don't mind Pilsner. I've been working at the university hospital for 17 years. I've had 4 different jobs at the hospital in 17 years.
17 years. How old are you?
34. Yeah.
So you started there when you were 17?
I wasn't even legal age yet, and they technically weren't allowed to hire me because you need to have your high school.
Okay.
But back then you could get away with a lot more than you can nowadays.
Right. Okay.
So yeah. I was underage for a year and a half working at the hospital. Started in the kitchen. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Were you the cook or?
I was the werewasher. I cleaned all the dishes.
Oh, the underwater ceramic technician.
Yep.
Also done that.
Yep. So that was the first one. And then right now I work as a project coordinator.
Still?
At the U of A, yeah.
You still work there?
I still work there.
And you're hustling.
Yeah. Well, because,
My man.
we need side income while...
I like it.
Yeah, so...
Cool. Okay, well, here, you guys started a business together.
Mm-hmm.
You started a pet grooming shop.
Yes.
Now, it's so interesting. Every person that quits their job and decides to go into the unknown of business,
Yep.
what made you want to quit your job, and what made you want to start a business? And why did you want to start a pet grooming business? Is there a certain reason for that?
Yes, there is.
There is, yeah.
Very much. Do you want me to go first?
Cool.
Or do you want to go first?
I can go from my inside perspective, and you can go from your outside perspective.
Okay.
Because there's a business reason and there's a heart reason,
Right,
if that
right.
makes sense.
Okay.
The business reason is it is a service type industry with little to no overhead. It is a commission based industry, and so it's one of those, it adapts. You pay your employees as much as the shop is making.
Lovely.
It grows with you. You don't really have to buy a lot of supplies. Groomers come with their own equipment. It's a very, you make the appointments, you let the groomers do their work, you maintain the environment and keep it good and clean and well run, and you're golden.
So you're just the third partier, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the shop, you say, hey, I got this many dogs, and then the groomers come in and they do their thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
She'll do whatever is left over. So she'll give all the dogs to who's ever in that day.
Right.
And then she'll just kind of pick up what's ever left over.
So do you do any grooming yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I'm very experienced. I work very hard. I gotta take in, as much as possible, as fast as possible as well.
Right. So then what's the personal reason?
The personal reason is grooming is a very under-regulated industry, and I want to create a safe environment for dogs and for groomers. I'm hoping to create a peaceful area for people to grow, dogs to grow. Grooming is you have sharp objects, you have moving targets, you need a good place to work and to send your animals as a client. And I think I personally can hold myself accountable to it, whereas in an unregulated industry, your boss is the person who sets the standard for how your salon is run. I want to set a higher standard.
Why? What made you want to go towards that? Maybe we'll dive in that a bit later. Okay. And Josh, what made you get into, like, you just...
So I've wanted to start a business since I was like 16, 17 years old. When I first started working at the hospital.
What happened? Why did it take so damn long, Josh?
I didn't think I could do it.
Okay.
Honestly.
That's why we're here.
I didn't think I could do it. Even when I was 16, 17 years old, I knew it was like everything had to go into a business at a young age. But at that age, you don't really quite comprehend it yet.
You're distracted.
Yeah.
You want to hang with your friends. You
want to hang out. I want to
to
go party. I want to drink. I went from making minimum wage at Superstore to making double that wage in the kitchen.
Right.
So I had lots of extra money. I lived at home. I got to go out and I got to do whatever I wanted all the time.
Right.
And I loved it. And
so you then...
So then the business got put on the side. And then I met Bre. And once she went into dog grooming, I was like, okay, this... Because for a long time I was trying to figure out like a really good field to go in. And I wanted a field that was, if there was a recession, we weren't going to be affected.
Right.
People don't stop grooming their dogs just because there's a recession. We're currently in one. We are still booming. Other salons are booked for months.
Right.
It's an industry that's always going to be booming. And when I talked to her boss, Aaron, this was about 2018.
Okay.
So I was asking him, I'm like, just, what's the dog grooming world like? Like, what's it like owning a business? And he's like, I earned over $400,000 from my business last year and have very little overhead. Of course, back then I didn't really know what overhead meant.
So was that net or was that gross?
That was gross.
Okay, so not
Yeah.
net. Okay.
Yeah. So
gross is the not paid out yet.
Yeah, before taxes.
Right,
just like the
right,
total
before-
amount.
Got you.
Yeah. So yeah, and so after that I was started to do like calculations, and I realized that like the amount of personal money you could make off a dog grooming salon was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you could make so much because your groomers are paid commission. Your overhead is very little. Like, you have to pay for shampoo, maybe some new tools, maybe a new table. That's nothing. Like, you look at restaurants and all the food and stuff that they have to order, that is a huge overhead. And they have hourly employees, too.
Right.
That's $2,500 a month if you're paying a full-time employee minimum wage.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
So you always had the mindset to be an entrepreneur, and then buddy tells you, "Hey, there's opportunity here."
Yes.
You know what? That got the fire burning. You're like,
It got the fire burning.
Hey,
yes.
Hey, what about dog grooming?
Yeah.
Who introduced the idea first? Who was the?
I introduced the idea of owning a salon one day first.
Yeah.
And then what happened with you, Bre? You got all, I don't know, maybe.
Grooming is a skilled labor. It's very good. It's very stable. Business is not stable. So it's one of those things where it's scary when you think about it in the beginning, and it's much more responsibility than just...
People don't even have a clue when you start a business.
No.
You can't even imagine.
No.
You can't even imagine. Like the chaos you're going to enter.
Yes.
Okay, so you want to start a business. You told her.
Yep.
And then what happened next?
So basically what happened next was we found out that her boss was maybe willing to sell the salon that he owned.
Right.
Yeah.
So we spent about a year and a half of saving so that we could purchase the salon from him. And we actually ended up getting to a point where we basically had a deal in place and everything was ready to go.
We were one signature away.
And then COVID hit.
Immediately after.
Hit right as we were going to apply for the loan. We had the amount set up. The shop was already making $450,000 a year. Revenue wasn't the issue, it was just getting the loan, and
Yeah.
then boom, COVID hits, everything shuts down, and we get delayed for like a year.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he changed his mind. He didn't
'Cause
want to sell anymore.
COVID hit and the shop was making money while his personal
Yep.
finance was not, so he
Yep.
needed to rely on the shop and
Mhm.
was no longer willing to sell it to us.
That's a fair,
Yeah.
Yeah.
statement.
And it was made sense, right? Like it was still
Oh,
it's a
respectable.
it's a booming salon, booming industry, right? So
Oh, and it's an old salon. He spent 10 years building up that client list. It's, yeah.
Also, you would have bought a functioning,
yeah,
fully rolling.
good
Yeah.
to go.
Let's go.
It
Yeah.
maybe needed like 10,000 in repairs, which really was not a big deal
Compared to what we spent building our
to
new
build from
one.
the ground up.
Kind
Yeah.
of interesting.
Yeah.
Like what was he selling the salon for?
140.
Yeah.
140,000,
Yeah.
and he was making 150 revenue.
Oh god, he was making so much.
Or was that just a crazy good deal, or
It was a
Like-
pretty good deal.
because it
Yeah.
that doesn't seem reasonable? Because it should have been like 5x, right?
Yeah, basically, okay, so he had his, like, the way he had his pay, like, structured, it didn't look like the salon was making any money because he'd already had, like, payments paying out to, like, whatever. Like, he'd
Right.
already had stuff set up. So the asking price was actually looked a little bit ridiculous to the bank because it didn't look like he had any profit. It looked like he was in the negative.
Oh, because he was doing so many write-offs. And
Yes.
I got you. Yeah.
So, yes, it was a good deal, but I had to convince the bank to like, and we never even got to the loan process.
No.
We were
oh,
just
my-
about
convincing
to
the
get
bank would have
there.
been the hard part.
So
Right.
yeah, that would have been difficult to like prove that, hey, this makes like so and so amount of money every year personally for him.
Gotcha.
Right.
So did he have a couple other businesses going on, or
Yeah.
He owns a massage parlor as well.
gotcha? Because that's kind of
Ralphing, I
Right,
think it's called.
'cause-
Ralphing.
because it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like maybe he's just kind of getting rid of something.
Yeah.
And then he could focus his attention maybe on just
Yeah.
one.
And
Yeah.
his wife also owned her own Ralphing business too.
Yeah.
Was
Well,
it the same thing?
that when I was talking about how sometimes when people in the pet industry own salons, they're not really.
Own pet salons.
When people own pet salons, not a lot of them are in like the pet industry. They're not much pet
Right,
experts.
They don't have the experience.
Yeah,
Yes.
his expertise is massage, and he owns the pet salon. So he wanted to sell the pet salon because his expertise is massage.
Yeah.
Right. Is that one of the reasons why you wanted to buy the salon? Because like his expertise were in massaging and maybe not in the pet care. Is that one of the reasons why you wanted to start getting into that business, or
Yeah.
what was the reason? So, because Josh said, "Hey, we should start a pet grooming thing," and then
I
told
think
you-
as somebody inside the industry, I have the expertise to be able to work the system in the favor of both the groomers and the pet owners and the animals within the shop.
right.
It's something that like it's a very fine balanced way to make a day in a grooming salon absolute chaos or just
Right.
smooth sailing, perfect for everyone. And I think it's you need a lot of understanding that only comes from working with the animals themselves. And it's one of those things where I can lay out that process. Working on the front desk, I can now fine tune things in a way where I feel like people outside of the industry wouldn't quite understand.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I don't know
That
if
makes
I'm
sense.
babbling.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. No, like, cause it's because you have this. You're trying to get this in place, right? You're gonna get the salon. He's gonna sell it to you, but what? Like, cause he came up with the idea we should start a salon.
Yes.
What was like I think when you were saying the personal reason was some of these salons don't keep their standards up, right? They don't have
Yes.
the standards for
Huge ethics problems. For
right,
Sure.
or you know, because obviously you want to create a feeling or a brand that represents, what you think pet grooming should be, right?
Yes.
And is that one of the
100%.
reasons why the personal reason for starting the business?
Mm-hmm.
And then what would be what did you see that you didn't like, and then how did you change it?
I would say that there's a lot of common misconceptions in the industry that a lot of people outside looking in won't quite understand.
So let's say, give me one of the biggest ones that, like, so I'm like, my dog owner, I like my dog.
Mm-hmm.
His name's
Otis.
It's a great dog. Want him to get him groomed. What is a misconception that bothered you and where you wanted to raise the standard?
I feel like a lot of owners in the industry are trying to get as much in as fast as possible, as quickly as possible, to try and fill up the day with as many dogs as they can until the environment just becomes so loud and crowded and stressed for everyone involved that it becomes accident prone, it becomes too busy, none of the animals feel safe, they don't act well.
Just so I can kind of picture this.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean, so when the people bring their dogs into the groomer,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you have kennels then for all these dogs? They bring them in the morning? Like, how does a pet groomer work? Because I actually personally don't know.
Oh.
So
Let's think.
you have a whole bunch of kennels, you have 50 dogs or 10 dogs come in, and then the owner brings them in the morning, or is it sporadically throughout the day? Is it like an actual salon where it's just like, booked a time for 2, I'm going to bring my dog in at 2, I'm going to pick it up at 5.
Say you call me,
Yeah.
you have Fido, he wants in at 2, I can make that happen. You get an hour or an hour and a half slot or an hour, 2-hour slot, depending on how big Fido is.
Right.
You come in, you drop him off, he goes straight into a bathtub, he gets washed, he gets dried, he gets his hair cut and everything done that you request, and then he will go in a kennel and wait for you to pick him up.
And that's forever long it takes for you to pick them up.
Yeah, and each one gets like their own time slot booked in. We've got a little scheduling system with little Lego blocks that you put in.
Right, so he came in, he went into his kennel at like 3:40 after this
Yeah.
thing. So, hey, you pick him up at 5, he's only been in the kennel. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
And I guess, how was it before? What's the standard of the industry?
the standard of the industry is one of those things where you get those time slots. You have a small groom, long hair, it should take this amount of time. You have a small, medium groom, short hair, it should take this amount of time. But the fun thing about dogs is they're organic beings and they don't quite work mathematically. So you get a lot of these questions that a lot of people won't ask, like, oh, hey, how's the coat condition? How are the nails? When was the last time this guy was in? All the mixes and everything of dogs. You'll get a lot of people who, if they're not in the industry, they'll be like, oh, this dog should only take an hour without quite understanding.
Right, okay, yeah. It's just, I completely understand. So, for example, you have a little Chihuahua, you can say a Chihuahua is 45 minutes, but let's say that Chihuahua has a whole bunch of problems, extra long nails, now it takes an hour and 15 minutes. So you have an extra half an hour of issues.
100%.
Great Bernese or something, or Mastiff, he's a 2-hour job, but he's not well groomed, now it's a 3-hour job. Okay, so.
And so you get a lot of things where, like, with my skill set, I can set up a perfect schedule because I can ask the right questions. I can figure out which breed of dog requires which amount of time for this. And it creates a lot smoother of an environment because I can create a better schedule for the groomers around me.
Okay, so now the dog is not next to another dog for long bits of time, and it's just, okay.
This one's organized here, this one's going to be big, so it needs this kennel over here. There's so much fine-tuning that needs to happen when you're, like, right there.
It's like a checkbox.
100%. And there's so much to it that, like, so many people, it takes years to figure out because there's so many different dogs, there's so many different breeds of dogs with so many different personalities.
How much do they weigh?
What do they like? What do they dislike? It's a whole codex of, like, memorization about what different animal has what different needs, and it's a big undertaking. And I think that, like, having the knowledge of the inside of the industry, it's supremely helpful.
Right. So then that's what you that's when you started the business. That's what you wanted to bring to it.
That's what I wanted to bring to the table was, like,
Some more
that level of
experience.
expertise to be able to apply and build and create the perfect environment for everyone in there.
Lovely.
That, I don't know.
All right, so that was the vision, and then reality struck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting a business. Okay, first of all, this is super interesting. When you started a business, what did you think would happen? And then, what actually happened? Because I sure I do different things.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I want you to bring yourself back when you're getting your paychecks from a company, you're getting income, Uber Eats, lovely time.
Great
But
time.
then, okay, let's start a business. What did you think was going to happen before you began the process? What did you think?
I thought it would take maybe 2 to 3 weeks for our days to just start filling up, like every single day.
Right.
Fair.
I thought even we would need a soft open because I was worried if we announced it too much that too many customers would come in all at once and I wouldn't be ready. And I spent my first day sitting in silence.
Right.
Yep. Oh, it was bad.
That's pretty bad.
It started out very hit or miss. Sunny days, we'd suddenly get so many calls, and then a rainy day would hit, and all of a sudden the shop would be dead. And then it would just be bill after bill just coming out. Everything had a hidden fee. We would be told this would be this much, and then all of a sudden it would be like 12,000 lines of, oh, here's the fee for doing it on the internet, here's the fee for calling us, here's the fee for existing. Just,
Yeah.
just so many hidden costs and little things that like, oh, this will be $20 a month. No, it's $100 a month. Just, and
Everyone's just taking their pound of flesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we even had a like huge nest egg that we had saved up, and one of those things where just little red line tape just
Not
gets
as
in
big
the
as you
way. Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
And then I think the starting of the business, the actual building it, getting it running.
The construction.
Let's go there before it was a soft open.
Yeah.
So for anyone else who is interested in starting a business, because it is quite exciting, it's fun. You're going out. You're a hunter now. You rely on only one person. That is yourself. You're building your home, your
Yep.
home base.
Yep.
Purrs and paw. What was that like?
The dopamine rush of walking into the construction site for the first time and seeing that it was real and
Yeah.
not just something on paper. Because I drew that for the floor plan, I drew that by hand.
Yep.
I had that sketched out, I had it in my brain, and then going in and seeing the walls and like the pipes and everything, it was all just like a cement floor by that time, but just seeing it for the first time, that was...
There's something about building and seeing it come alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really hits
Yeah.
the human soul. I talk to so many people. It's just you see something that's not there, and it turns into something, and it's your idea. It's like, I'm so great.
Yep.
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
Oh, and when the walls came up and the floors came up and everything was, oh, yeah, no, everything was gorgeous. And I designed that building to a T. Like, the lighting is LED, it's perfect, it's low so that you can see every single detail of, like, the dog hair. Because,
Right.
again, I know the industry. I know what's going to make it good. I have the lighting perfect for all the grooming. I have rubber baseboards so that my flooring's all waterproof so we don't get mold in the walls. Like,
I
just
want that.
the little things that you think of. And it's I'm very happy to have it. Like, to walk around and look at it and be like, yeah, I made that. That was a choice I made. That was good.
That's a good feeling.
It is.
And then for you guys, how was what are some of the things or problems that arise during that? Like, because obviously
We had a break-in.
it break-in.
Yeah.
You have
Yep.
just the bills start piling up. The
Non-stop.
city, the bank, like
Yep. Yep.
explain that process. 'Cause
Insurance.
Insurance. Everybody is
Yeah.
just. It's like everybody wants you to fail.
Yeah. It feels that way sometimes, absolutely.
It really does. And it's
Yeah.
it's so easy to, like, get in that mindset where it's like, oh, man, like, nobody likes us.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's hard, especially like because sometimes you wake up and you check your bank account and the money's gone. It's just
Right.
like, oh, by the way, we're taking this. It's
Yep. All the time.
yeah, and it's yeah.
I just the sip to that quote.
Yeah.
Man. Oh man.
Oh, and you wake up to an email being like, hey, by the way, you owe us money. And it's just, sometimes I don't even know which company I owe at this point.
Right. Yes. It's very. very
Oh,
frustrating.
I swear to God, a scammer could email me and be like, hey, you owe me $50. And be like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, this on the internet now, so be careful.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, I'll edit that one out.
Yeah. That didn't happen.
Okay,
Oh.
yeah. So then, when did you guys like do your opening? When did you guys actually open up?
April 1st.
No. April 10th.
April 10th?
April 10th.
Oh.
It was Easter Monday.
Easter Monday.
And we forgot it was Easter Monday, and
Yeah,
so we had
that's why I
nobody.
sat there in silence for
Yeah,
a day. It
yeah.
was Easter Monday. I don't even think we were open on Google. I just kind of
No.
like got overexcited and was like, I'll go in and see if the phones were ringing.
Man, I do that as well.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna let's see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many times.
Exactly.
Sometimes I'll be off a day and I'll just kind of like go and sit there and just see if anyone calls.
Do you not have the number that can be sent to your phone?
No, because you can only have either voicemail or call transfer.
There has to be something out there.
That's what I've been trying to talk to Telus about.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't even get me started on Telus. We're still in a battle with them over our internet.
Yeah.
We're in a newer area. It's very newly developed. So a lot of like, I think we literally had to get like fiber optics installed like after we opened because we had a little LAN hut thing. Like we're very south in the city. So it's very just newly built. There's
Okay.
it's kind of
Oh, it still needs a little extra finishing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's even some more.
Yeah, because we had to
stuff
put
going on right
the original internet we had to put in was there was no like fiber line set up yet in the mechanical room, so we had to just get like one of those like little Wi-Fi ports almost.
Okay. Yeah. I know those. Yeah.
Yeah.
now. Yeah, and that's trying to run our entire business.
And that's what we've been using up until this point. We just
and it's struggling. There's so many
Yeah,
times I'll
it's
click on
brutal.
something and my computer will be like, "Help me."
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you, Josh. During this beginning of the business, during all the building process, what did you take out of this? What were you stressing? Were you like, I'm still working. Hey, you're doing great.
Yeah. No.
What was your end on this?
Definitely, I can tell you right now that all the bills that come out of the business, my job can absolutely not even barely put a dent into the amount of money I make. So like
Gotcha.
it's a lot, and I think the biggest thing was timelines. So anytime somebody gave me like a timeline for how long something was gonna take, it ended up being like 5 to 10 times longer than that. And so basically what happened is every single thing ended up getting like pushed back because, you know, this thing had to finish first before this thing could start. And like I was saying about the HVAC system, we had the HVAC system installed. The city sent the inspector to come and look at it. And they were like, no, you got to add this other thing. And other dog grooming salons, nobody has to have that. Like, this was literally just an us thing. Like, it was, I don't know if it was like a new regulation or not. And so we ordered this part, and it took 4 months to come in. And so we couldn't barely do any work on the shop. And usually, like, when I first started construction, they said 8 to 12 weeks. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I even pushed it back to like 5 months, 6 months. I was like, just in case it takes a little bit longer.
Right.
But that one part
4 months.
was an entire construction process just to come in.
God.
You know? And then it's like you have to
And
have this installed and like this installed, and then it takes time, and then you have to get permits. So you have to do like there's 2 permits you have to get for plumbing, for example. Like they have to come and look to make sure it's set up initially. Then they have to come midway to come and look again. And then they do a final inspection of everything where they take a look at everything. And the inspectors are to the dot. If you have anything that's out of place, any little thing, they'll ding you on it. And they'll be like, no, you got to fix that before we can move on with this process.
It's awful.
Yeah. And to get the final inspection, I needed the CSA approval for the tub, which is like this, Canada has like this standard where you have to, your tubs and stuff have to be like built a certain way. But I mean, this is dogs we're talking about, right?
Right.
And so that took me like a month or two just to like figure out where to find CSA approval. And there was a company I found that took a month just to even get back to me about something. Yeah, there's literally only 2 companies. So the first one took a month to get back to me. And then they gave me this like exorbitant like quote.
What's an exorbitant?
Like we're talking like $6,000.
Okay.
Yeah, like massive quote.
For a tub.
For a tub.
For dogs.
For dogs.
Okay.
That we're paying.
And so I was just like, okay, no, I'm gonna see if I can maybe get somebody to come and like fix the tub we had now to like make it CSA approved. That didn't work out because there's like so many regulations you have to have, and so for them to come in and fix it all up would have taken forever.
And probably another $6,000.
Yeah, and another $6,000. So we ended up finding this place like Forever Clean, and they do CSA approved tubs. And basically, it had been like 6 months of trying to get this done, and I was like, "Okay, I just don't care anymore. I'm just gonna buy this ridiculously expensive tub," and we got it. And then the city let us open, and so it took us 1 year for construction to finish instead of 8 to 12 weeks.
Right.
So all those extra 8 months, I'm paying rent. I'm paying for my bank loan. I'm still paying for all these other expenses, and my shop's not even open yet.
Brutal.
And so my nest egg and my credit cards all went into the gutter.
No. Went towards learning.
Yes.
You got a PhD in business.
I definitely learned a lot. Yep. Every single day I'm still learning tons about the business.
The best part.
But definitely the funds and the timeline. Those were the 2 most stressful things to me for like the whole process just to get the thing built.
You know, it's like I was telling you guys before, it's like the darkest hour.
Darkest hour.
If you can
Yeah.
survive the darkest hour.
Yep.
You know.
And we're getting close, you know, we're almost out of the darkest hour, but
Right.
it's still.
We're hoping, yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Cheers.
Not hoping. Out of the darkest hour.
We're out of the darkest hour.
So now you started April 10th, obviously.
Yeah.
Easter Monday, no business. What was it like getting your first client? 'Cause man, that is an exciting feeling.
Oh, man.
Money wants my services.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
I just want to know their
nice.
first name, because I'm sure you remember, because I know mine. Mine was Conrad.
Is it bad that I remember the name of the dog?
Oh.
We are the dogs, not the clients' names as much.
It's unfortunate. You work with the dogs more than you see
Right.
the people, and that's.
So what's the dog's name?
Her name was Suki.
Suki.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
She's
that's
a
it.
giant Bernedoodle. Just adorable. I don't know what else to say. She was actually one of the clients from the first salon I worked at, and she
Right.
followed me to my new salon and became one of the first clients that ever came into my shop. And I was one of those things where it's like, it was, when we first opened, it was so bare bones. We managed to get like good equipment in, but I had one table and like an empty room and like maybe a few kennels in the corner. It was just me.
And it was a crappy table.
Oh, it
wasn't even a good one.
It wasn't even a good
Yeah.
table. But it was one of those like, so bare bones, but like good dog, so easy to work with, easy to finish the job. But it was like one of those like, I was so nervous. I like every step of the way I was just like, oh, what if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't
If they're not
work?
happy with my work.
What if they're not
Oh
happy? Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
it's
true.
just one of those things. It's just like, oh, what if the computer just explodes today? Just everything could have gone wrong. Nothing went wrong. It was perfect. It was wonderful, and I was so happy. It was one of those like, I was one of those things though where you finish and then you're like, next one, I want more. Just the thirst of like, I want to book, I want more calls, I want more people in my shop now. It was just 100%.
You get the rush.
Yeah, every time the phone rings, I'm sprinting across the room being like, hello?
Hello, I love you.
Yeah.
And I love your dog.
Oh.
I will do anything.
Oh, I was
Just
having
please bring them in.
I was having a great moment. Somebody called my salon the other day, and I answered, and they were like, oh, hi, is this Happy Dog? I just wanted to know if you guys had an opening today. I was like, we're not Happy Dog, but I do have an opening. I'll take your dog. And I got that dog in, and I got the groom done, and I was just like,
Nice.
just, yeah.
I love stealing other people's clients.
Oh, God, it's
It
juicy.
feels powerful almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mine.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a grooming salon in Summerside and a grooming salon in Windermere, and we've taken tons of clients from those two salons around us.
Yeah, but they're booking 3 months in advance,
Yeah.
so it's just like,
Right.
everyone who wants in at least a week up, we're here. Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Great. So your first month, did you guys project what you guys wanted, or how did it go?
We had goals for the day. We had a daily goal that we set
Yep.
for 400 a day.
Did you do it?
Some days we went over, some days we were like
Yeah,
barely
we
even.
we about hit the quote for the first month.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Usually you always I always
Yeah.
go way more than I think I can do,
Mm-hmm.
and then I usually never hit it. And I'm just like, well, it's kind of a ridiculous
Yeah.
goal, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we didn't have super like high a super high amount set, so
No,
it
we
was
didn't-
not overly hard to
We
get.
levied our
It was
expectations.
reasonable. It was reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And then second month, how did that go?
Second month boomed because
Yeah.
we hired her mom's stepdaughter. So
Devin.
yeah.
Yep, our bather. She was my assistant. She would bathe and prep the dogs for me while I did the grooming. It cut my work in half, and she was able to support, like, just, we were able to double the work effort with only just, like, one extra person in the salon. And also, I'll be honest, the extra security of a person just feels so good.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
Do you ever show up there? Do you ever do any dog grooming, or you're
was-
you're financing?
I'm mainly I'm like the background figure, like the financer of
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
She's the face of the franchise. People know her.
He does the
I'm like the dark
emails and the
thing
calls and does
Yeah.
the insurance and stuff. I can't.
But when we did first open, I took 3 weeks of vacation from work,
Yeah,
Right,
and he was
and you-
doing reception work.
and I
for
did
me.
reception the whole time.
Was it exciting?
It was
very.
very. I was the same as her. Like when I got phone calls, I was hello, like, oh, that's a cool dog name, or like, like I would just suck up to them because I was just so happy somebody was calling and wanted us to groom their dog.
Right?
It was like every single client was like precious.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't it like just, it's exciting.
It's like a rush.
It's
It
exciting.
is. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I'll be honest, getting to work with your husband like every day for a long
Yeah, we had a
while
good
was
time.
good. That
We had
was
a good
very
time.
Was it? Because sometimes I can see like you're all day with them, you come back home, you're always together. It was
The thing is,
alright?
she was grooming in the back most of the
Okay,
time, and
right.
I was at
Yeah.
the front. So like I didn't. We talked, but like she was more
You're
focused.
doing your thing and then you're
Yeah.
building your guy.
I put
My
on a
parents do that.
podcast and just work. It's
Yeah.
grooming is an art. You have to get into a zone for
Yeah.
it. So it's definitely one of those things where you just gotta like hone in and not talk to people. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it ended up working out for that reason.
Cool.
So
And then for your future,
Mm-hmm.
are you planning to eventually be full time or open another shop?
Yeah.
Quitting the
So,
hospital? What's
at
your
the-
plans?
at the hospital, I eventually do. So basically, there's full time, part time, casual.
Right.
So I want to go down to casual, where basically you just control your whole schedule. You're not guaranteed any shifts,
Yeah.
but they kind of just give you what's available.
Right.
And eventually, I want to go down to casual and open up a second shop.
Okay.
We eventually do want to open up a second, but I definitely really don't want to build from the ground up again.
Gotcha.
It was
A nightmare.
a nightmare. Like it was just
scarred.
I'm
Yeah.
I
scarred.
can hear in your voice.
Yeah. Do you know how
Scarred.
easy it is though to just like I realize it's way easier to just take over another business, give them the amount because the business is already covering its bills.
Yeah.
You know, so it's much easier to be able to jump in and then figure out your stuff once you've actually, you know.
Canada's so ridiculous, or I would say Canada. It's just the crazy amount of permits we have now.
So many
And
permits.
it's just like
Oh,
it's
the
like common
permits.
roll. It's just like
It's the dumbest
the
permit.
systems in place. I know there's good systems out there. I know
Yes.
there's things that are really important for the safety, but like for example, that guy doing the
Our
permits,
doorways were
right?
off by like a half inch, and they sent all of our stuff back and
Right.
just re-sign it. And we had to pay another $100 to reapply just because
Yeah.
0.5 of an inch on our doorways.
Oh yeah, it wasn't wide enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's just like things like that where, hey, like I know there's regulations, yada yada yada, but who cares? Like
Some of the
who
stuff really
cares?
who cares, I agree.
Like,
Some of the stuff they ask
and there's
for
some
is
things
insane.
it's like, yeah, maybe we should have more regulations. Like I'm not the decider on that, but
Amusement parks, yes.
right, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a good example. But yeah, so then how now that you're rolling, what was some of the big highs, big lows, and then how do you structure keep getting business? Like what's your, is it referrals? Is it like what do you do to continue to try to get as many clients as possible?
Word of mouth.
Where's my
Word of mouth, getting a good reputation is the biggest thing. Every client that leaves happy, leaves a 5-star review, tells their friends about it.
You ask them to leave a review?
It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to read a room, because there are some people where you come across a little, you ask them for a 5-star review and they kind of are like, okay, sure. But then some people are just very happy to just leave a 5-star review, detailed, post it on their Instagram, post it on their Facebook. Like, you get the right people and
They're good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so that's how you get more clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah.
Another big one too is Google Ads. Google is king of
The
advertising.
Google, yeah.
So do you guys pay for that
Yes.
to get to the top?
Yes. And it is.
It is well worth it.
It is expensive.
How
Yeah.
much?
Well, last month we paid $468 in advertising for it.
Okay, but you're the
So-
top.
But we were at the top.
Yeah.
And
And it gets you
it
calls
gets you a
upon
lot of
calls upon
calls
calls.
upon
It puts you at the
calls.
top of the search results.
Yeah.
It puts, and Google owns so many companies, so,
so many.
there's certain things on their advertising. They can put you on YouTube. They can put you on like different websites that they sponsor. It's one of those things where your shop just shows up everywhere if you give Google the money.
They are absolutely the king of advertising
Yeah.
because of like they control like everything.
Like if you want
They
to
have a
be,
pull in
and they
everything.
have localization. I'm only advertising to Edmonton. Every single ad that I pay for, every single click that I pay
Right.
for, here. Yeah, there's
Okay,
a
so
mile radius
You
thing
pay
you can
per
get to.
click. How much is a click? Like 10 cents?
60 cents.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's
Yeah.
not cheap, but
But
it brings in clients. Like
with
it brings in
grooming
lots of
too,
clients.
one client is at least gonna be
$60.
$60.
And how many, let's say, so that's 800 clicks, how many convert into a sale?
I couldn't give you percentages off the top of my head, but I'd say like we get on average, because it monitors when people click the button to call, so I'd say like on average we get like about 5 calls a day from them.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's paid off
Yeah.
in one day.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include all the emails that we get.
All the email clients.
Yeah.
Email clients are so hit and miss though. It's
They
one of
are.
those you have to email back and forth, and they're gonna be booking for like within the month, whereas your
Yeah,
calls is what you're
yeah.
gonna get in the day, in
Yeah.
the week, in
And
the
those are
I need
annoying.
it now.
Just give me the money now.
Yeah, we want the absolutely.
It's one of those. That's definitely like something that I realized as a business owner. You suddenly become very like, I need it and I need it now.
Yeah,
It's-
I don't want to wait.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
that's- We got to convert.
Yeah.
When
yeah,
I was
this isn't like
working-
we're fully established yet kind
yeah,
of thing.
when I was working for Paychecks, it was like,
Whatever.
whatever, I'll budget, I'll wait, I'll do this,
Yeah,
and
whatever.
yeah, and now I'm just like, get me as
Urgency.
much as I can.
Oh, urgency to the max.
Urgency to the max.
Absolute max.
100%.
You're counting every penny in the
Oh,
beginning.
and you take things so much more personally, because like people make appointments and sometimes people don't show up. As a
How
groomer,
dare
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Oh, it's so hard not to take it personally too, because you get to a point where it's like you're sitting there and you're waiting and you're like, oh, 5 minutes is gonna be okay. Oh, 10 minutes, and then you're like, where are you? And you call and it feels like you've been ghosted on a date sometimes.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's it's one of those things where it's like everything becomes so much more emotional. Every no show, everything is so much more connected to you personally that it's hard not to be emotionally involved.
Okay. So now the business is rolling.
Yep.
Mm.
Now some other questions.
All right.
Okay. Purpose in life.
Mm.
What have you found? It's a deeper thing. So,
Like personally?
well, yeah, you know, you're working for a business. Now you're working for a company. Now you're working starting a business. What gives you purpose in life? What's the when you sit here on the couch? You know, what makes you feel fulfilled? Is it like after work? Is it during running a business? Is it working together as a team? Like, what gives you fulfillment?
I am really liking the teamwork.
Yeah.
I'm liking it, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do like coming home to my partner and we almost over dinner we'll just discuss more things about the business, more ways we can improve, more ways we can streamline in time, and having somebody to bounce off of constantly all
Lots
the
of
time.
ideas bounce.
It feels very good, and it feels good that it's something we're building together.
You know what I know a few successful. My parents was one, my auntie Dawn, my uncle Terry, are another. But they both went into a business.
Mm-hmm.
They both worked together to grow that business, and the reason is I think they're still together is because they shared the wins and they shared the losses.
Yeah.
So you have two
Every
people
single
together.
day.
I'm not saying this. I know successful relationships that are separate, but
Yeah.
it's like if they're going this way for their career, you're not sharing in their wins, you're not sharing in their losses.
Yeah.
It's just you're always gonna have money. Just in Canada, you're always gonna be taken care of. Even if you're homeless, someone's gonna feed you,
Yeah.
right? But if you're going this direction, that person going that, you don't share in the wins and losses.
No.
You guys are just like, yeah, I got my wins. Yeah, I'm happy for you. But when it's actually a personal thing, like when she wins,
Yeah.
you are actually winning.
It feels like a massive win.
It's just like you got how many dogs in a day? It's like 6.
Sick.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
Like, how do we replicate that? Like
Yeah.
what can I do?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I got time at work. Like what email do I need to send? What email sent it, right?
Yep.
And now you're sharing the wins, and I think that's a super, super important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Even during the day, we text a lot, discussing things.
Yeah,
And,
being like, oh, can you do this
all
here?
the time
Can you
we're
like-
discussing things.
Ooh, and having somebody in the background to be able to kind of outsource a lot of the. If I don't want to deal with a customer, having a man in the shadows to just be like, oh, hello, I'm the owner, I can deal with it. Very
Yeah,
right.
good.
Yeah, I'm customer complaints. Bree's not customer complaints.
I'll be like, let me get you to my manager.
Bree's just a groomer at that point.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh, and then what about a family? You guys ever think about having a family, anything like that?
Yes.
Yes, that once we're
Yes.
rolling,
Established.
once we're
very
stable,
excited
that's
for
when
that.
we're starting that. But we got it at a point where we can afford it,
Right,
a
right.
family.
Yeah, we
first.
cannot afford kids for at least 9 months.
Yeah.
That's my buddy. I just did one. Buddy Kelowna.
Yeah.
He says the only thing he said really gives me fulfillment is his family, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a business and his wife helps and do the books and stuff. She's in the back, right, in
Yeah.
the shadows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Shadow Man's awesome.
yeah, so cool. And then so for the future, what's your vision for in the next 3 years? Where you want to? This is what I like the most. It's on video. You can come back to here after 3 years, rewatch it. At the current moment, when you visualize your future of where Pause and Purrs, where you guys want to be, how you guys want to do it, what do you see when you guys are chatting? It's like, where are we gonna bring this?
There is a difference between what I want for the business and what I want for us. Does that make sense?
Well, give us both. Then.
I want to travel. As soon as we have
please,
expendable
yes.
income, we want to see as much of the world as we possibly can.
For long stints or just 2 weeks?
Ooh.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
2 weeks to start at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do a circuit. I definitely want to do one of those train bound where we go, take a Europe circuit, take a South Asia circuit.
So you hit 5 cities in 2 weeks, 4 days here.
100%.
That'd be
Just
so
take in
awesome,
as much as physically possible.
Yeah.
Like, because I lived in Japan for 6 months.
Wait, you repeat that? I was laughing.
Sorry. I lived in Japan for 6 months.
Very cool place.
Very amazing, beautiful, loving.
Tasty.
Can't wait to
The
visit
best
there.
food I've ever had in my entire life. And some of the sauces. And
Sauce boss.
there was a fruit there that I ate.
Okay.
Love it. They told me the name. It's in Japanese. I don't know what fruit I ate, but it was the best thing I've ever had in my entire life. Biwa was the Japanese name for it, but I couldn't tell you the
Maybe
name.
someone hopefully can
One
tell us. what
Someone
it
will
was.
tell us. Yeah.
But no, like, and it's one of those things, like, experience, I totally understand. Going to a country, you can only experience the culture if you are in there, if you're fully integrated,
For
if you're
months.
fully meeting.
Has to be over like a month.
100%,
Yeah.
because you're not going to get the genuine.
I agree.
But we've been grounded for so long. When we had enough income to travel regularly, COVID hit, and then as soon as COVID didn't hit, is when we poured all of our money into the business, and
If
so.
then COVID hit then, because then you probably wouldn't have to go right. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Oh, we would have had no money because we would
No.
have been everywhere. But we do that, and that is a big bucket list item on us. Is just to see and experience and just shotgun as much of like everything in the world as we possibly can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the business side of things, what's your vision? Then I'm gonna go to you, Josh.
Yep.
Oh, we haven't discussed. If I were to say end game goal for the business,
3 years. We got 3 years.
3 years? Oh, 3 years in the business. I'd want at least 2. I'd want one that I go to, one that I come to regularly, that is my station, that is everything I do. And then I'd want another where I have somebody I can trust, who is running the salon, who can employ more groomers, bring
She'd
more
be
dogs
like
in.
a partner.
Yeah, my partner
So
in crime.
You get it all set up, and you're like, I take 20%, you get 80%.
Yeah, we have our system, we have our go, and then we have the name that people can trust, and just bring in as much as we can and
Gotcha.
create a good environment. I can obviously check in every now and again and see how things are going, but for the most part, I just want to create like.
So you create a situation for someone to take over a business. They get a high part of that business, and you would set it up completely, put everything in there, and she would just be a figurehead. And then
Yeah.
if she's not doing her job, you can always just say, hey, you know what, this isn't working out.
Yeah.
And I'll have to find someone else who wants to 80% commission or something like that. Along those lines.
Along those lines, yeah, it would be one of those. Just it having like a brand that people can go to is very important, especially when it comes to something as important as people's animals.
Right.
Because like big corporations like PetSmart and stuff like that, they're not
They don't love your pet.
No.
They don't love your pet.
It's
like
quantity
no.
over quality, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's an industry, and it creates. It's one of those things where like the corporations, they create almost like a chain industry. They train you for 2 months. They lock you into a 2-year contract. They make sure that you can't compete with them, and they kind of try to like own the grooming industry for themselves. Every groomer that comes out of there is not allowed to work at other salons for at least like a certain amount of time, kind of thing. So it's one of those, like, you want to create like an environment where a groomer can, it's a skilled labor. It's something that's like so rare for people to build. You want to create an environment where people want to come into work and want to work hard and want to do a lot for you, because they create happier dogs as well. As stress-free groomers make stress-free animals, and it makes for better grooms. It's just one of those, like, it keeps giving forward so long as you do things right. Is there beer?
No, there's no beer left, sorry.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
So, 2 shops, 3 years.
2 shops, 3 years.
Personal, traveling.
Yeah.
Now, Josh, what do you see? What's your vision?
Okay, so
Should we go personal?
I've actually thought about this a lot.
Oh.
Even before you even actually ever asked me this question.
Okay, good.
So, okay, here's what my plan is.
You were ready.
So your timeline is 3 years, correct?
I'm saying 3. Let's say, hey, you want to go 5?
I want to go 5 years.
Okay, I can go 5.
Okay, 5 years. So here's my plan. Before the end of this year, I want a second shop.
Ambitious.
Before
That's
the
it.
end of this year?
Before the end of this year, yes.
That's hungry.
Or at least on the path to another shop. Okay.
So you're already getting the paperwork right now at the shop.
Yes.
So let's say by April.
Let's say by April.
You
Sure.
have commandeered another shop.
Yeah. By April, I want to like have everything set up that I want to do.
March might be better.
Yeah, even March, April. I'm down with either month. By year 3, I want to expand into Calgary because we have my auntie. My auntie knows a groomer who used to date my cousin. Top-notch groomer. She's very good in Calgary, and her and another girl could run the shop in Calgary.
Oh.
Okay. So.
And why would you? And why not? See, she would come here to Edmonton and have 3 shops where you can be more in control.
Yeah, I thought about that and I realized that it's actually not too bad to have a shop in Calgary because Calgary shops actually make a ton more money than Edmonton shops.
And they have less
statistically, and they have way less regulations, and I don't have to get all these certain approvals in Calgary that I have to get in Edmonton. So I'm saving 4 months minimum opening up my shop.
So you might as well just go to Calgary.
Might as well go to Calgary, yeah. Okay, and then by year 5, this is like hungry Josh. If I'm still hungry,
That's what we want.
I want a franchise. I want shops in BC.
5 years. How many
Yeah.
shops you want?
BC.
Yeah, I want to surround Western Canada with shops.
I like it.
Yeah, and potentially one day Seattle. I want one shop in Seattle. Across from BC. So I want 5 shops total, minimum, across Western Canada and 1 in BC to start.
Okay.
So I want it because the reason why I want Seattle is even less regulated than Calgary is. Okay? And the amount of, you said it was like the #1 dog place in the world, did you not? Or like in North America?
That's Oregon.
Oregon. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, I confused the place, but anyway, I still do want
Seattle or Oregon.
No. I still because Seattle is within like the Western Canada loop.
Right.
Because you can go from BC to Seattle in like 2 hours. Not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So that's where I want.
Oh, you want to be anywhere we can reasonably drive to.
Yes, because Seattle's about a 14-hour drive. It's not in about what like a 2-3 hour plane ride. So like we can just fly over to the shop and just see how things are going.
Right.
You know, so it's all like within like a circle essentially. I want like a shops in like a circle where we can just visit them regularly on a loop almost. That's mega thirsty Josh.
I like it.
Yeah. Otherwise, normal me is just fine with 2 shops.
Mega thirsty is nice.
I'm mega thirsty.
Let's see how far we can take this. We're already
The
we're
survival
already
thing.
doing enough at this point.
Yeah.
If we get 5, I'll be the same amount of stress as I was before.
Know what I find too? It's like you get to you're making a certain amount of money, and that's everyone has a different amount of money that makes them happy, right?
Yeah.
Some people need $1 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Some people just need $100,000 a year, and that gets everything they need in their life.
Yeah.
And more. Some people are 250. Some people are 50,000, and that's everything they need.
Yeah.
So it depends on how what amount of money you need a year.
Yeah.
Because everything, like honestly, all you need is 4 wheels. You need a car. You don't need a Ferrari. You need a.
I don't
place
need
to
a
live.
Ferrari. Absolutely
And then
not.
you need a house or to get your holiday for 2 weeks or a month.
Yeah.
And that's the reason around the $100,000 mark.
Yeah.
But then there's the thirsty people.
I'm a
hungry.
little bit, yeah.
Where it's
And I think it's very achievable because one thing I've learned building this business from the ground up is how to schedule things properly and how to manage the money a little bit better.
Right.
And I'm not going to go open up a second shop while I'm still in a ton of debt.
Right. So what you're gonna have, like, hey,
I'm going to wait a little bit.
you know how much a shop costs.
I know
With all the
pricing.
problems involved.
All the problems.
50
Yep.
grand.
Yep.
I mean, 50 grand, and that will deal with 9 months of bullshit, no
Yeah,
sweat. And
exactly.
then we're rolling.
And keep in mind too, we're in a recession right now. By the time I open up a second shop, the recession is going to be way, and the interest rates from the Bank of Canada are going to be significantly less, and so my loan interest is going to be much, much better. I'll
Yeah.
be paying at least $300 less a month.
Things are tricky.
Yeah. So I know I'm not in a rush to expand. I know you want to expand when you have the resources to be able to do it. And I understand resources now.
But you got the knowledge.
Yes, I understand how important like every single dollar can be.
It's funny too, like you never have as much money as you think you have.
No.
No.
Let's say you have 100 grand in the bank, it's just like, it's not that much money.
No.
It goes away pretty
It's
quick.
so much
In
and
this
then not
economy?
enough
Yeah.
all
Oh
at the
my
same
God.
time.
It's just like, Jesus. There goes another 30K.
Yeah.
I still got 70K though.
Yeah.
There goes another 20K. It's all,
Yeah.
it's half. I still got 50, like.
Yeah. And with how much everything costs these days and like
Psychotic, man.
yeah,
Oh,
it's crazy.
snap.
Absolutely, it's absolutely insane.
Oh, inflation hit twice during the process of our construction. So we got a
Twice
new
Twice
bill every
prices
single
went up
time.
for us.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because
Yeah.
we started like just at the beginning of COVID and then the height of COVID and then we
Yeah.
got a new bill and it was like, oh, well, now all of our equipment costs so much more.
Yeah,
so now
fuel
we're
is
going to have
now
to charge
doubled.
you this.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it was
And
like,
like
oh,
materials
now,
are more money
yeah.
because like there's like a shortage because COVID is happening, so they have to charge you more. Like copper. Copper is the hardest metal in the world to get right now. There is a massive shortage.
Yeah.
And like
And we had
they'll
somebody steal our
and we
copper
had somebody
pipes.
steal our copper pipes. And just as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things you got to take into consideration.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, any advice for anyone doing construction? Security. Put
Mm-hmm.
cameras up
See,
first thing.
like when I built my house in Ecuador, people were making fun of me because I hired a guard to live on the premise. It's just
No,
like,
that's a good idea.
And everyone's just like, you hired a guard. It's like, well, you go anywhere in the world
Yeah.
and you have any materials, there's always security around
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
crackheads.
Exactly.
So, like, I hired a guard, and it cost me for 6 months $1,200 US, and he was worth every penny.
Every
Yeah.
penny. 100%.
Absolutely.
No, yeah, because we were wrong, and that's just it. Is this stuff happens, and then you're fighting with insurance for 12,000 years. It's never, yeah. you
Yeah,
think-
we've been waiting 6 months on an insurance claim that we still have not gotten yet. Like, it's just been brutal.
Right.
Yeah.
Just another thing to deal with, right?
background noise.
Background noise. Yeah.
Prioritize. What's first?
Yeah.
And then your sneaky little email to the insurance.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, lovely. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
This was good.
This was great. So you'll have to look at this in a few years.
I can't wait to come back and look at this in a few years.
Super ambitious, Josh.
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm excited to see which one of us is right.
Yeah, man. Seattle sounds crazy.
Seattle. Oh, I don't know how you're gonna get
Yeah,
licensing in
I
America.
like it,
Good
though.
luck.
I
I
like
believe
it.
in you.
You know,
Hey.
all you gotta do is get more knowledge.
Because remember, Seattle's going to be the last place I hit up. So by the time I get to Seattle, I have tons of resources to go
Right.
through whatever BS I have to go through
Right.
in Seattle.
Just lots of money.
Yeah, just boom.
See
And
you later.
in America, there is way less regulation.
I know.
Way,
America's
way less.
So much better. In
So much better for like things like that.
Everything. It's just
Right.
like, hey, yeah, we want to support businesses, and you want money? Cause we print that shit every day.
Yeah, exactly. They have like the Federal Reserve and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. This was
Sweet.
fun.
It's the end now.
Peace.